Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be building a Star Wars Legion Ewok battle force on a budget. And what I mean by that is I'm going to be trying to give you most access to units that you already have and with the least access to new things that you have to buy. Now, that's kind of a tall order for a lot of people. Maybe not everybody has the exact same stuff, but we're going to try because the Bright Tree Village only requires a single Ewok, and so I think it's entirely possible if you don't want to have to buy, 6 new Ewok expansions to be able to do all of the crazy Ewok stuff. If you wanted to kind of use Bright Tree Village as more of an excuse to get Chewbacca in the ATST and all of that sort of stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. I am using Tabletop Admiral, and we're going to we'll put a link to the finished list in the video description below. If you like what you see here, I'd love to have you stick around and join our Discord and social media links and all that good stuff. It's all linked down in the video description below. Most people who watch aren't subscribed to. Subscriptions are absolutely free. They help you out. They help me out. They help me out quite a bit. I'm definitely trying to see those numbers rise, and so far it's been pretty slow going this year. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this. So we're using Tabletop Admiral. Down in the bottom right, you can select, if you're doing a battle force or a grand army or a regular or something like that. But we're doing a battle force, and it'll when you choose battle forces, it'll ask you which battle force do you want. We can go with Echo Base Defenders, or in this case, Bright Tree Village. It's only 2 for the Rebels. If you were Empire, you'd have like 72 different battle forces, but we're going to go with Bright Tree Village. And also the other thing that's interesting about that is it's going to give you, but yeah, you must take at least 2 non-Bright Tree Rebels. So you got to have at least 2 like regular Rebels to go in with this, which is interesting why you'd need to have like Rebels. But we're definitely going to do that. Definitely going to do that. And so all your Force Org changes and all that stuff is a reminder for all of that stuff there. So we're going to start off. Of course, we're going to have Chewbacca. He's in the ATST. He's incognito. He's got all those guns. He's 190 points, but he's got Surge to Crit. He's just awesome. He's super cool. He has Inspire 3, which is also really cool. And he is Chewbacca, which is going to let you use Chewbacca command cards, which can certainly work with a lot of characters. Can't combo him with Luke Skywalker. Why they don't let you use Jedi Luke in a Bright Tree Village list is kind of beyond me, because Luke was there. He was part of the tribe. And he was more important than C-3PO, but C-3PO is still there. I don't know. It's probably a balance reason. I don't know. But either way, we're going to go with Chewbacca. We're going to go with Leia and Han. And that's going to give us access to quite a lot of synergy between them. It doesn't give you access to Han Solo doing teamwork with Chewbacca, because, again, Chewbacca, the Rebel operative, has teamwork with Han Solo, but not the other way around. Of course, if you don't want to run Chewbacca in the ATST, you could run Chewbacca on the ground. You could do that as well, but I'm not doing that. I'm putting Chewie in the ATST. That's going to be far cooler, because there's some other cool things that we can do with that. All right, so we've got to have at least 1 Ewok in there. We're going to put Ewok skirmishers. There are going to be our core unit, and we'll gear them out a little bit. We'll put the Axe Ewok in there. We've got Pierce 1 and Impact 1. We'll put that on there. We're going to put, we have a lot of weird options in here, right? Like you could run the 2-1B medical droid with the Ewoks. I feel like that wasn't intended, but it doesn't seem excessively broken to me at first glance. And I think the idea is that you're going to want the Ewok Trapper, even though he doesn't give you anything, decisively cool. Like if you want to take the R5 Astromech to repair the Chewbacca and the Walker, you can do that. But I'm going to take the Trapper because it allows us to play the command card that happens to require a Trapper, which is a weird way to do things, but hey, it is what it is. So we're just going to take that. And I will put Insatiable Curiosity on these guys. This is, I believe, like kind of the reason you take an Ewok. It's an incredibly incredibly strong card, and in a lot of circumstances, it just gets rid of an upgrade card, which is huge. So we're going to put that on there. And that's the only Ewok unit I'm going to run. Well, technically, I'm running also Chewbacca in the ATST. It's just a card that happens to come with 2 different expansions. I'm sure if your friends can loan you a card, or you can just print it out. I don't even use physical cards anymore. I just print out the lists all the time because they are errated and they change all the time. But if you're playing in a tournament, you need to actually have a physical copy of the card. So if you've already got an ATST, if you've been playing Legion for a while, you may not have to even buy any of this stuff. You probably already have Han. If you're a Rebel player, you probably already have Han and Leia and all that other stuff. You might have picked up the ATST or not, but the idea is the only thing that you really need to buy out of this is the Ewok skirmishers, and at least have to have access to the Chewbacca card and an ATST. So whether you bought the new ATST or you have an old ATST for Empire and you're just borrowing the card from somebody or whatever, you can, there's a lot of different ways to make that happen. But everything else is going to be like a little bit older Rebel stuff. So we are going to put Rebel Troopers to fill out our core requirements in here. Let's put a Rebel Trooper in. We're going to gear up our Rebel Troopers a little bit. I really like Rebel Troopers. They got black dice for attack, which is pretty good. They don't have that offensive surge, but we have lots of ways to help that out. So we're going to put the Z6 on there, who is my favorite Rebel. And definitely I love that Z6 or Z6 if you're outside of the United States, or at least in certain places outside of the United States. We're going to add the Rebel Trooper Captain to this one. This is going to give us that training slot, and that's going to give us the lovely ability of offensive push. So we can move and get a free aim token. I really like the offensive push. We're going to combo that with targeting scope. So when we get that free aim token, we can use that to roll an additional die. That's going to factor in really well with those Z6s that really need the extra rerolls. And hopefully we can get close enough to get into close range and throw a fragmentation grenade. And that's going to give us surge to crit. And then we're going to have a really nice die pool if we can get close enough with all of these guys. Even down to just the leader and a Z6 left, we'll still have some really nice stuff. So that's the Rebel Troopers. We're going to double that up and make 2 of those big, heavy, big pay list kind of, the payload. This is where you're making your money right here on these Rebel Troopers. We're also going to add Rebel Commandos. And we're going to go, we have to do the full unit of Rebel Commandos. So we're going to, we have some options. I mean, if you're running a full unit, a Saboteur is not a bad option, but I don't have a whole lot of really long range stuff in this build outside of Chewbacca. So I'm going to add some snipers in there. You can do it either way, but I'm going to add the snipers. I'm going to put 2 Rebel Commandos in there, and you can change this up. If you've got, if you want to run it slightly differently, you certainly can. If you've got extra Ewoks, you can run the Ewok Slingers. I really don't like the Ewok Slingers. I mean, they're cheap, but I just don't like them. I just don't like the way the Ewoks are in this game. The thing I like most about Ewoks in this game is Chewbacca and the ATST, which neither one of those are an Ewok. One's a giant walker, one's a Wookiee. One's a Wook, the other's a walk. Dad joke. Okay, very bad dad joke. Yeah, so we're gonna give Han Solo duck and cover. Of course, with low profile, that's gonna help him out a lot. It's gonna give him a little bit more survivability, and that's gonna leave me at 760, which is just enough room to throw in another Rebel Trooper unit, all on its own, naked. And they're going to be objective users. That is 9 activations. That's not half bad for having a big unit like Chewbacca in there. And there's a lot of fun we're going to have with the command cards. Now, we're not putting any upgrades on Leia. We only have the 1 upgrade on Han. I was tempted to get the free dodge tokens after you shoot, but since he doesn't have Chewie getting the free tokens when he gets them, it's not quite as good for me. So this is the list so far. We're going to jump down to commands. Now, we have a lot of different options because we've got Leia's commands, we've got Han Solo's commands, we've got Chewbacca's commands, we've got the Ewok commands, and all of the generic Rebel commands. There's a lot of options, but I want to talk about my favorite one right now, and that is going to be Brains and Brawn. This is a card that I almost never ever would take before, and now all of a sudden it's an excellent card. It's Chewbacca and Leia Organa. Chewbacca's issuing this, and he is in the ATST, and he gets to issue this one, so he'll be issuing an order to himself and to Leia. That's going to say, well, Leia is performing a ranged attack if Chewbacca is not engaged and has a line of sight and is range 1 to 3 of the defender, add one of his ranged weapons to the attack pool. What's beautiful about this is he's going to add that MS4 twin blaster cannon. All right, 2 red, 2 black, and 2 white to the attack pool into Leia's shot. She's going to be rolling 3 black, so you're going to be having a 9-die attack pool with sharpshooter 2 and surge to crit on any. Now, granted, got to be range 1 to 2, so Leia has to kind of be within striking distance. She can just kind of dash in there and do it, right? That's a beautiful thing. And Pierce 1 on that shot too, which is very, very fun. So a big fan of that. I really like that card. Very cool, very fun. It's definitely going in. So Chewbacca, brains and brawn. I'm also going to put Notorious Scoundrels. This is a one that's going to combo really well with Han Solo. And for Han Solo, the one I want to use that one with a lot is Change of Plans. This is great counterplay to your opponent. Your opponent says, hey, I'm playing this ultra nasty card. And you're like, oh, no, Change of Plans. You can't play that. And then you follow it up. You see, we're going to play something else. I'm going to discard this. You play something else. You can't play that card. I turn around and play Notorious Scoundrels. Get Change of Plans back. Boom. So what I can do is I can wait until turns 5 and 6 and to completely lock my opponent out of their turns 5 and 6 command cards. If they're saving that really good card for the end of the game, I can just be like, no, you actually don't get to do that. And that's a really nasty thing. So I like that. I like having the ability to do that. Now that does take up both of our 3 pips and one of our 2 pips. So we've got some 1 pip shenanigans. I am going to use the Ewok card, Log Traps. This is a very cool card. It's a 1 pip. It doesn't activate any units, but it does allow your Ewoks to make a range 4 attack with impact 4 and Pierce 1. This is a very effective vehicle smashing card. So we're going to throw Log Traps in there. It makes for an excellent 1 pip. And then to follow that up, to kind of combo in these ultra long range attacks, I'm going to have Coordinated Bombardment from Leia in there. I think that's a cool one to follow it up because a lot of people might not be expecting 2 ultra long range attacks, and so that's a fun way to kind of build out the 1 pips. That does mean that we have to make some tough sacrifices. It means we're not running Sorry About the Mess with Han, and I understand that. You might want to make a change if you're trying to implement something like this, but I think for purposes of having the fun factor, I think if you're trying to be like ultra tactical, this is probably could be at least a better card, but I also really like this. I like this comboed with that. Having 2 1 pips that give you really long range stuff is very, very fun, and I like that idea. Although this card is probably better for like a first turn play, and then you move Leia closer, so this way she can go with Chewie's 2 pip at some point. The tricky question at this point, since I've got 2 1 pips, 2 3 pips, and only 1 2 pip, is where does the other 2 pip come from? I think Leia's No Time for Sorrows is an excellent option, but the problem I've got is that I pin too much on Leia by having 3 cards that reference Leia. Chewie's cards are both, one is referencing Han, and then I've got Han's right there. So I've already got 2 cards that need Han. I've got Chewie that needs Leia, and Coordinated Bombardment that needs Leia. So I've already got 2 cards that need Chewie, 2 cards that need Leia, and 2 cards that need Han. I've got 1 card that needs an Ewok, which is I'm kind of okay with that. But so I feel just for balance and for safety's sake that I'm just going to go ahead and use the good old-fashioned push for my 2 pip. Other options are something like Hiding in Plain Sight, which is going to get kind of wasted because I've only got the 1 core unit, 1 trooper unit that's an Ewok, so that one's not going to do very much. I could also go with Turning the Tide. I would only be able to issue 1 heavy unit with that. It would give him Inspire 2, but I don't think that's really as meaningful here since Chewbacca in the ATST already has Inspire 3. It's not like I'm going to have that much suppression that I need Inspire 5 on Chewbacca, although that is potentially cool. This would be better if I had another heavy in this list, and since I can't do that at this time, I'm just going to go with push, and that's going to complete my command cards. As far as the battle plans, the battle cards, we're going to go ahead and do those real quick. I think I'm not sure if I want to go with bombing run. I do like payload. It's kind of moving slow. I think if you're really wanting to go in on payload, you could potentially swap out your sniper rifles for your saboteurs and drop more mines along the path of the payload. I think that's something you might want to think about doing. I do like moisture evaporators for this one. It allows the Ewoks to stay behind and just be objective people. It allows my empty rebel troopers to be objective people. It works with that. I've got a decent number of activations, so I can also go with key positions. So we've got, and I think recover the supplies is also another good option for that. So here is it, sabotage moisture evaporators and recover the supplies is kind of how I'm going to do that. You could change it up. I could see intercept the transmissions working in there too pretty well. I think hemmed in is actually going to be a decent one here. This one would, again, also work a little better if I had the saboteurs. One of the things that I used to always say about hemmed in is, like, it seems like it gives the red player more advantage than the blue player as far as deployment options, but it allows the blue player a lot more options on where to place objectives, especially since the corners, the bottom right and bottom left corner, aren't going to be in range of a deployment zone. I can really put like moisture evaporators all the way in the corner of the map towards me and force the red player to really have to come far, and that will work really well with a lot of things. And it means I can maybe take Leia and just have her kind of stay safe and force you to come close to her, and then the ATST and Leia, tag team you, and so this is a pretty cool one, and I think I'm gonna work that one in. Rollout would be kind of an interesting one here, since that ATST would get scout, but I don't have enough to really take a huge advantage of it. So I'm gonna kind of stick to some classic ones, like battle lines is kind of a good one. I do like advanced positions. I like having scout, since nothing that I have in here has scout, and I do have 8 different troopers, so they're all gonna get a little bit of that, and so that's a fun one. And I could easily go with something like disarray here, but I'm not super crazy about having such a small corner to sort of deploy in, but I feel like that could work because I could easily just put like a single rebel trooper. I've got kind of disposable units that I could drop over there, or I could drop an Ewok over there and have them use that 1 pip on the first turn. So I think we'll put disarray in there. I think it's got its options, and it'd be a good one to go against a vehicle that might want to get that shot, that shot off right away, which could be really fun. I always like supply drop. I think there's a lot going for supply drop with this build. If you end up, one of the things I always say with supply drop is I like it better when I have at least one good target for an arc welder, and here I definitely do. You can get so many different things in the supply drop. It's pretty fun. I don't want war weary. Granted, I do have a little bit of inspire, so maybe, but I think hostile environment is going to work a little bit better. Hostile environment works good for this list between Chewie's inspire and Leia's inspire. We've got a lot of inspiring stuff that's going to help, and I think that could work. Fortified positions, not super great for this one. Clear conditions is always safe. Rapid reinforcements could work here, but I don't have anything that really takes high advantage of it. Limited visibility doesn't help me as much because I do have 2 snipers, but if you go with the saboteurs instead of the snipers, I would definitely suggest limited visibility. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go with clear conditions on here, and I think we'll go with, gosh, I don't want limited visibility right now. Could do rapid reinforcements with the Ewoks, being able to choose where I kind of drop them down. That gives me, it keeps them safe too. So I think that's another thing that kind of works to their advantage there. So I'll go ahead and work that in. I think I can make that work. Yeah. And that's gonna be our whole build. Let me know. I want to hear what you guys think, though. Because again, this is a Bright Tree Village build, but it has just the 1 Ewok in it. Everything else is Rebels. So, technically, it has the 2 Ewok units because technically, Chewbacca's a Bright Tree Village unit, but He's not an Ewok. Now, we happen to know that there's 2 little Ewoks happen to be inside there helping him kind of pilot it, so to speak. So I guess that kind of helps it on theme. But I feel like this is also a list that you can run on pretty much any planet and any kind of terrain without having to dress everything up as Ewok Village or Endor, right? But I want to hear what you guys think. I'll put a link to this list down in the video description below. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and let me know some of your thoughts for some very cool, fun, and thematic Star Wars Legion lists. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing and help make this channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes, and have a great day.